Fine by me.
These like 30-minute things.
Do we say victory fanfare at the end?
No, that's not that one.
Oh,
if this was Final Fantasy, we would. We're crossing things now. We can't be doing that. Hello, family. My name is Chris. I am your home gamer dad, and you may notice with me today is a bunch of awesome boxes, as well as my buddy.
I was going to say, not even hurtful at all.
Yeah, right? So, my friend Paul here, who I've talked about many times on my channel, as you probably well know, has decided to bring over his massively huge copy of Monster Hunter World. Now, this isn't even all of it. This is not all of it. What do we got left? We got 4 other boxes that we'd have to unbox.
Yeah.
But we're going to make this a 2-part special. And why is that?
Because it's a lot.
It's a lot. So basically what we have here, we have the base game, which is Monster Hunter board game in the Ancient Forest, which, as you say, is a location in the game itself. Yep. And then what else do we have? What are these other 3 boxes?
So this one, we'll just kind of...
turn it around so you can show. Yeah, that's cool.
This is Kula Yaku, but it's also all of the stretch goals, or login bonuses, as they called it during the campaign.
And then this one is the Hunter's Arsenal.
Yep. And that one is all of the... Not all of, but it is 6 weapon classes that are not in the base game.
Oh, wow.
And then this is Nergigante, which was the flagship monster, which you technically didn't fight originally in the Ancient Forest, but you would fight him in the Ancient Forest, so it felt right to keep him.
Yeah, because you also have... this is the base board game. This is probably the one that you're going to find in the retail stores and everything. There is a second standalone expansion for this that takes place. Where's that map?
In the Wastelands.
In the Wastelands, okay. So then we've separated it, so this way the monsters that we show in that part are all from the Wastelands, and all the ones here are from the Ancient Forests. I have not seen any of this yet. This is going to be absolutely amazing. You just kind of opened it up really quickly to make sure that everything was...
There was a couple claims of broken pieces, so I just wanted to make sure I was not one of them, and fortunately I was not.
Awesome. So then why don't we go ahead and get onto it. We're going to start with the base game, because obviously that's where all the good stuff is, and then we will go from there. Oh god, he's fighting us!
Tell me about it.
Come on, hunters, let's go!
We're just going to do that. We're just going to...
Here, I'll take the lid. I can just put that down over here. That's really cool. I got to take a picture of that. That might be thumbnail worthy right there.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
It's a great picture. And, I mean, who doesn't love fighting oversized dragons with a giant
It's
hammer?
true. It's very true. Hold on. I mean, that's pretty much...
It's a great picture.
That's the cover, isn't it? Yeah, it's the cover of the actual thing. So, and that pretty much encompasses everything that's Monster Hunter. You against something big and ferocious.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so within the box itself, they have the figures right in the front. So there's some wings.
Yep, those are Rathalos' wings.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take these guys out a little bit. If you want to take out some of the stuff from there.
So I mean, this is new to the point that I haven't even taken the shrink wrap off the board game itself yet, or punched out. Which punching out, I don't know about you, punching out cardboard cutouts is probably one of the most cathartic things to do. Like, it's just, I don't know, there's something to it for me.
Yeah. Just makes it feel good to be able to just punch all that out, and then it's the organization. I love that part.
I know. So then you have, the game is technically a campaign game. It's built for hunting all of the different monsters in a row. You have character sheets, so you can keep track of where you are. And then in here, I'll have to get a blade in a second from you. In here we have all of the monster cards for the monsters we would be.
Give me 1 second. Okay, so before we go into talking about any of the figures or whatever like that, I like kind of focusing on some of the components and whatnot, just so you out there can understand what you're going to get, specifically in something like the base game.
Yeah.
This isn't like, we're going to go into the expansions and how to make the game long-lasting and how to really go on those major hunts, I guess you can say, that you would go. Yep. You're way more of a Monster Hunter fan. I don't even know if there's a word for that, but...
And you want to know what? It's funny, too, because I have put in between, probably from Monster Hunter 3 on the Wii, all the way through to Rise now on the Switch, I've probably put in a few hundred hours going across the whole series, and there are people who will play Monster Hunter that would be like, that's baby talk. You haven't even scratched the surface yet.
But what we have here are the cards that you're going to get in the base decks, so the base games. There's a lot of cards here. These are the important ones because these are the behavior cards that determines where the monsters run around on the field.
These are the time cards. So each, normally you would have a 45-minute time limit in order to kind of build that same feel. there's time cards, and you will make a certain number card deck based on
The
whatever
time.
monster you're hunting and how long you have to complete it.
And then decks, and I would assume these are all weapons and equipment and everything. That's crazy.
Yep. This is the modifier deck. This is when you use an attacking move, you would draw a certain number of damaging cards. These damage cards change in number and intensity based on the weapon you make, so it kind of has a mini deck building aspect to it, because the better your weapon is, the better theoretically your modifier deck is going to be as well for when you're doing those hunts.
Things I never knew.
Yeah.
So just to kind of show a comparison between the Hunter minis that you get within the game compared to, well, you know, Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Here we have Hyperforce Green, just to keep with the color scheme apparently. These guys are small. These are very, very small hunters. Like, they are definitely crazy brave guys going up against things that are, and I'm just going to bring in a monster, that's quite different in terms of like scaling range and things along that way.
What's funny too is that that's actually fairly accurate to like scale of you versus the things you're hunting in the video game.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Comically oversized monsters.
Very much so. Let's take a look at one of the hunters. Alright, so this is the sword and shield hunter. I guess, like, they're not really named, are they? They're just your weapon
You're basically
outlet.
Picking a weapon.
Yeah.
Everything else is just cosmetic from that point on.
And then what you were talking about in terms of, like, this deck, the deck that you make using cards from here are basically determined by what weapon you're going to be using throughout the course of the game. So if your weapon gets, you know, your basic hunter's knife, you're going to have 8 1s and 2 2s in it, or 4 2s, I'm sorry. But then once you have a steel knife, you're able to get some 3s and then more 3s, and then I guess do additional effects or whatever, depending on what weapon you use.
Yes, and these are not...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, these are not like, okay, I've used them, now they're gone forever. This is a typical situation where when you run out of cards, you would reshuffle them back into your deck and then just keep drawing. The only way you're losing a hunt is if you either time out,
right,
or if the monster just physically kills you.
And then you also get great sword, dual blades,
and the bow.
And the bow. Now there's other ones here as well.
So I actually didn't realize this until we were opening it right now on the camera, is that you actually get the Wildspire Wasteland for those same weapons inside the base game, which I think is interesting because you technically don't need the Wildspire Wastelands, nor do you need the Ancient Forest to play Wildspire. That is a completely completely separate game.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that it's in there.
Weird. And then on the back of each of them, so it's like you're gonna take the cards for the hunters that you're not using, you can flip it over, and here's your armor output to show you what type of armors you're going to be able to get. So here's the Ancient Forest line of armor, and then the Wildspire Waste line of armor as well. So that's pretty cool.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's in there. I'm happy it is, don't get me wrong, but I'm surprised it's in there.
All right, so you got Rathalos here, which is your main big boss, I guess. Yeah. And then going down the line, you have
Anjanath, who's pretty much a Tyrannosaurus.
Yep.
Great Jagras, which is unfortunately the punching bag of the game. And Tobi Kadachi, who is a lot of fun to hunt, but he will mess your world up with that tail because it's electric, and if he smacks you...
Woogie.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So then each one of the monsters has their own card that goes with them. So this is their... basically, what is this? A level 1 creature of sorts?
Yep.
Or
there's level 1, 2, and 3 in the game. You would start with the level 1 hunt, but if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could go higher than that. From
much higher, yeah.
And then on
this guy, he's massive.
Huge. Yeah,
God, it's insane.
So then on the card you have his 80, which is, your health points.
Yep.
You have where it's red, you can break or well, no, in this game you can't really sever, you would break.
Yeah.
And what that would do is if they ever pull from their deck here an attack that would use the body part that you broke, it doesn't do as much damage, making it easier for you to absorb or avoid if you need to.
Yeah, so each one of the monsters in here, you can tell them by their symbol right here. They'll have their own behavioral deck in order to be able to do stuff that when you're fighting them, you're drawing from this deck, and it's basically telling you where they move, how they attack, and various other bad things that happen
range,
through the
range
course of it all.
Attack,
yeah,
things like that. But just like you as a hunter, where your deck gets better as the weapons go, the higher the number, the higher the level of the monster you hunt, the stronger their modifier deck is, and the stronger their behavioral deck is.
Of course,
so it intensifies the hunt in every way.
And it's pretty cool. They actually give you a drop list for the monster itself. So depending on, I guess, how you do, I don't know what number rolled mean, but like you're gonna get different things depending on how you fight this particular monster.
And then
awesome.
again, just like the video game, you need to get those materials to build those weapons and armors. Otherwise,
this is really cool. Oh man, I really want to give this a shot.
There is a lot to it, and I'm actually, I've seen a few playthroughs. I've watched some people do it. I deliberately, very challengingly,
I bet,
put off doing this until we were able to sit down together. But I am really excited to get this on my table and kind of give this a run through.
Let's do a quick look at the other monsters, and then we'll go from there. So we got the Ancient here, which again is pretty much just a T-Rex for the most part and everything. You can kind of see. And again, these are all just going to be the level 1s. We're not going to spoil too much in terms of like their insanity of how powerful they are. But again, these sculpts are awesome. Like, don't put these back in the box. Just put these,
they're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
So.
I have.
Let's get another one. Go ahead.
I have a shelf at home. These are all going to be going up on my shelf, and I'll just pluck them down as I want to fight one of them.
Oh, God, jeez, this is so cool. I never got into Monster Hunter. It just wasn't something that I really ever played, but I will absolutely sit down and play through this,
And you want to know what?
Let's put on the last dude. Go ahead.
Yep, Toby Kadachi. It's funny, too, because it actually... I had played and dabbled in Monster Hunter, and I had the same feeling as you. I had a hard time getting invested in it until I played World. And World for me cleaned up a lot of the mechanics and made it way more accessible. And I just now it's one of my favorite series to play. I love it.
Awesome. All right, so again, this is everything that you're pretty much going to find in the base game. You got these 4 monsters, you get these 4 hunters. Is there like a board to this, like a playing board? It's probably in the
thing here.
Yeah. We're not going to open that up or whatever like that, but there you go. Okay, so you
can see it on the backside.
Yeah.
And like these nodes are where your hunters would go, and you are able to move. You're able to move and play attack cards and try to predict how the monster is going to behave.
Jeez.
But again, like this isn't like the video game where the monster has a tell that you can pick up and attack and like react to. This is totally random. So it's going to be a different mechanic in the sense that, like, you may know Rathalos is about to tail whip, but you may not be in the position to avoid it now. And so...
Oh, boy. All right. Let's go ahead and open up some of the expansions for this.
Yes.
And see where we go from there.
I like it.
So the base game also does come with its own quest book, which is basically what you would get in the game anyway. Ancient Forrest, which again, it doesn't have the Wastelands. It may have the cards and everything for the other people, but it doesn't have the Wastelands, which is crazy.
So then, but I'm also wondering then, if the Wastelands, I mean, I haven't dove into it fully, but I'm wondering if the Wastelands are going to have the Ancient Forest cards.
Yeah, right.
Because the classes in there
are
totally different than the ones that are
so that's
in
probably
here.
what it is then.
Yeah.
This way you can have, okay, so that makes sense. And this is like you mentioned before when we were talking about it. These areas down here are like a choose-your-own-adventure thing.
Yep.
Once you do the thing here, it would bring you to a different part of the quest.
Now, and you are allowed to read the green before you make your decision.
Oh, good.
So it's not just like, make a quick snap decision and
you
never know.
Yeah.
You are allowed to read what the results of your decision would be before you make it.
Man, this is huge.
Yes.
This is so many here. Awesome. All right, yeah. I just wanted to kind of point that out before we move on to everything else. Awesome. All right, so we got our 3 expansions here that we want to open up. What do you got first?
So this is the Hunter's Arsenal. This is where this one is literally just either alternate sculpts for weapons that exist or sculpts for weapons that are not represented in Wildspire or in Ancient Forrest.
Okay, so this is pretty easy then.
Yeah.
We've already seen most of these things or whatever. It's the same type of like attack cards and weapon cards that you would see here.
Yep.
As we can take here, I'm going to put this underneath the camera in a moment, but just kind of give a quick view. This is what you're going to pretty much get. All your weapon cards and everything in here, and then the alternate sculpts to everything. Which, let me just go ahead and pull this out.
Yeah, actually, that whole thing should.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go into the camera. Okay, so again, I don't know much about Monster Hunter, but stuff like this is ridiculous. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, I need to move this just so you guys can just get an idea. I mean,
that's a lance.
I mean, come on. That is. I have the power right here for my He-Man and everything. Like, oh my God, that is massive. These weapons are absolutely insane. I can't even get some of them out, but let me just try to get these over here. Just kind of give a better view on them and everything.
Who's that? That looks like a long sword.
Yeah. So what do we got? What do we have? We have something that looks like a blaster over here.
Yeah, that's a light bow gun. That's my
This is your favorite,
yeah,
right? This is your one. Yeah. So it's like, and I can actually kind of show. Come on, are we gonna focus? Maybe, possibly. Who knows? But you did open up some of the weapon cards.
Yeah, because I wanted to just kind of get a peek. It'll most likely be in the back because that was the last.
So just pretty much showing what some of the weapons look like that you would get in the game. Yep. And again, a lot of this is like your style of fighting, so this is why you wanted to kind of look at them and everything.
Yep. And so it's just an interesting way to equate the video game to a board game. Because
crazy.
I am far newer to the realm of board games than you are, so this for me is another nice way of
all right, that's good.
getting acquainted with it.
And we'll just open up these two at the same time because this one only has the
Nergigante.
Nergigante, which I know Gigante is big because I play enough Resident Evil 4 to know that. But he's probably just a single monster in here.
And he's big.
All right, let me assemble the Nergigante. You can open up that one. Talk about that.
This one is the Kula Yaku. The Kula was a bonus monster, but they also did all of they called them login bonuses, but they were effectively the stretch goals. It's more alternate sculpts. You got to have your little pig companion because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. Oh wow, he does have a little pig companion. Yeah. Oh gosh. All right, hang on. That's got to go under. Hold on. One moment. And this is Monster Hunter lore, like.
Yes.
You get a pig companion?
Well, I mean,
like,
he exists in the village, and you get to pet him whenever you want.
So
he is.
So for those of you out there who play video games who like the realism of petting animals while going through, you get to pet a pig. Isn't that good? Good. I'm petting him with the tip of my bow. That's terrifying. All right. So again, is all this new? Are these alternate sculpts?
They're alternate
Why
sculpts.
do you have a Cloud Buster sword? Oh
it's
my
a great sword.
God. That is one great sword, that's for sure. Holy jeez.
Yeah, these are all alternate sculpts. These were the login bonuses, which was effectively their stretch goals, more or less. So you've got Kula Yaku there, who was a small expansion, but I think they just kind of lumped it in because it was really just.
It makes sense. I mean, they just go in with it. And all the cards for everything here. I can see his behavior deck, duck down there, and then I'm sure those are all the other weapon cards and everything.
And then the top row there are there's four different palicos, and they are, just like in the video game, 1 or 2 players only. And they provide, effectively a one-time boost. Like, they may draw the monster's attention to them, or they may be able to do an attack, on your behalf.
Send out your minions as cannon fodder for you to be able to do your things.
Minion kitties.
Pretty much. Oh, they're kitties. That's right. Oh, so again, just out of reference it again, the only Monster Hunter I ever played was Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Yes.
Because you recommended it to me, and it's more JRPG style, which is my type of game. So I recognize a few of these things here and there. Like I recognize the cluck-clucks here.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Because they're in the
opening area and everything. So I do recognize a few, and there's one that we have in part 2 that I really remember. But this guy, I don't know this guy.
Because you didn't do the end game.
That is just slightly terrifying.
Just mildly terrifying.
Like I'm trying to swing him around in order to be able to show everything. But oh my God, Nergigante, that is insane. Wow. The details on these are actually really cool as well. And, he's 1 star is 85 health. Oh my gosh. Yep.
He's the flagship. And I'm curious how...
Wow. Wing!
We lost a wing.
I chopped it off. I chopped it. Now he has less wing attacks. Yeah.
But I'm curious how they're going to... he has an attack where he builds spikes and then will literally dive bomb you to death. And I'm curious if that's going to exist in the game, and I want to fight that so bad.
The board game, whatever.
I want to fight it so bad.
True final boss material here. And again, this is an expansion. This is just a regular expansion. Yeah.
And it is technically not the final boss. That's coming in part 2.
Yeah. Don't cover your face, you say. These boxes are massive. This is going to happen. Happens anyway. All right, everybody. So here we have part 1 of the unboxing that we saw the base game, or at least a base game.
Base game.
I wonder if they are going to sell both of them separate anyway, which would be most likely whatever. So, Ancient Forrest base game, Nergigante, a terrifyingly monstrous monster, the Kickstarter exclusive, and then some more weapons and arsenal. In the next part, we're going to be heading over to the Wastelands, right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, Wildspire Waste.
And we'll be checking out the true final boss of the game and figures who are bigger than this.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Let us know down in the comments below. Are you a fan of Monster Hunter? Do you have this game? Have you heard anything about it? Have you seen anything about it? And of course, if you are not any of those, would you get this? And how much do you think it is, like going from video game to board game, how accurate it is? Which you'll have a better review on that later anyway. So
probably even by the time this goes live.
But it might actually happen. We'll see. By this evening, I will know. So take care of yourselves and each other. We're family forever, gaming together. You want to say anything on the way out?
See you in the next one.
All right. Then we'll see you then. Later.